Hello there, my name is Bruce Barclay and I'm a student here at J-Tech. We're an automotive training facility and I'm here today to show you how to work on your rear brake drums, how to take your shoes off and put the shoes back on. We have our primary brake shoe, we have our secondary brake shoe, and then we have this is all the stuff that helps with engaging the parking brake. This is a self-adjuster, and these are all your return springs and your wheel cylinder, and then you got another part here that helps keep things centered up. First thing I'm going to do is tear it down, and the way to tear it down is you want to start off with a brake spring tool.
Don't worry about that, and
you want to get up underneath the spring.
Because the springs ain't pulling it back. That's why you put that in there.
And get the spring off.
You'll never get the springs on.
While you have that tool in your hand, go ahead and take off this spring.
You just gotta push it together. Don't worry about it. You got this spring now. This spring right here.
And if you'll notice, I'm putting things on different sides here. It helps you remember how this goes back together.
And
this tool here, we're using to remove this spring off of my primary shoe. Get the spring off, the nail.
you need a pull tool. Easy way to do these things right here is this part.
And then I'm going to pull off this parking brake lever.
Right there on there, it pulls on. You don't need to hold it. Like this.
Put that over there. Pull out this spring. Take out the bar in the center. This centering tab. Take out the self-adjuster. That comes out. This spring. And then I got to remove this shoe over here. So again, I'm going to use this tool again. This nail. That's hold down spring.
I don't want to hit you.
Got a little spring retainer that lines up the lever up to the shoe. Now the shoe's free. Okay, now at this stage I'm going to make sure my wheel cylinder is not leaking by checking the seals in it. Make sure there's no fluid in the seals. I'm going to squeeze them and manipulate them as much as I can without damaging them, and then make sure I don't see no fluid in there. If I don't see fluid coming out, then I know that the cylinder's good. Then I'm going to clean this whole plate off and lubricate these little pads right here with some caliper lube, brake lube. Then once I have that done, I can start my reassembly. This here is what engages the parking brake in when you pull your parking brake cable. So that's the first thing we're going to put on. That engages in behind here like this. Then I put the shoe in position. Then I want to go ahead and install my nail. And it doesn't look pretty when we're doing it, but it ends up pretty. Okay, then after that I install my spring, the spring seat in there. It's a spring seat. Oops, I'm sorry. I gotta pull that back out again. And put on this first, then this spring seat, which goes through the hole there and the hole in the shoe. Then,
Gotta go like this.
now that I have all that in there, I can put in my
Pull that
spring.
here.
I like to put these in by hand because it's a little easier.
Not like that.
Because you can see what you're doing.
Put this out here. Pull it. It should slide right on.
Ah, come on, you. All right, I said it was
I'm
easy.
thinking you thinking
Easier.
That other one goes on.
But
From this side, that has to clamp. One of these.
there we go.
has to go on this hook.
Okay, now that spring's on. Okay, now I'm going to put the in this spring
No.
in there. Then I'm going to put this in. Goes in.
This piece right here on here.
What I do is I hook it up here first and then on that.
Okay. Now we're starting to take shape here. And then we're going to put on this return spring. There we go. That finishes putting on the secondary shoe. It has the most parts coming off of it. That's why you want to start with it. Primary shoe. Make sure it gets underneath there.
Video, you gotta learn.
Okay. Put your nail through. Nail through the shoe. Spring. Hold down spring for the primary shoe. Goes on there. Oh, I had it on there.
Now you gotta take it all the way apart. Keep practicing.
There we go. We got that spring on. All right. We'll put this in. This got a big opening on one end and a thin opening with a spring on the other end. It goes in like this with this side out towards you, and that goes in here like this. Because you got two pieces of metal in there and only one piece of metal here. But you want to spread your shoes out a little bit and get it in there. Then there you go. Now you have that installed where it needs to be. And then this is your return spring for your primary shoe. It goes up to there, so you want to push down on this up here. Make sure you got room to land the spring.
First thing you want to do is take these off.
This is gets kind of tricky here. I know this isn't pretty, is it?
Part without a tool, really. You don't need no tool now. Yeah. No tool. pretty.
But I'm gonna still keep going at it because you're gonna run into this when you do this out in the field. There we go. Where did the spring go?
You don't want to do that now because it's going to be in your way. This piece should be weird. Because it ain't supposed to be off. Well, you never.
Sometimes the best. Sometimes
You can use different tools. Where'd that spring go?
That's all I do. That's all I did. Like the first 6 months I lived here, that's how I know I didn't go down there. I mean, I love the plan.
wow, that thing went all the way over there.
You want me to stop the?
No.
Oh, you gotta.
No, I'll edit it out.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Get off my butt. Maybe that'll help. There it goes, finally. All right. The more parts you put on, the harder it gets to work with. Just letting you know. Because it's wanting to fight you. But you gotta be the master. It's a self-adjuster. And before you put this in, you want to make sure that it's clean. And you want to put a little brake and caliper lube on the threads for this right here, and also on this little point right here, because this is what adjusts your parking brake tension and your overall brake pad tension as they wear out. So you want to lube that just a little bit, you know, not excessively. But I turn them all the way in when I'm putting them into the brake. And once I get it in position, position the rear first, or against my secondary shoe first, and pull this out, and I turn this until I can get it to hang into the brake. And that's going to stay where I want it to stay. Final spring. I put it in like this. Goes in this hole back here. And then I take a screwdriver and lead it to the hole. And it goes right in. When you're done, you want to make sure everything's all tight up in here and all around down on the bottom. Then you want to put your drum on and see where your shoes are at. You want to run this self-adjuster out until the shoes are almost barely touching the drum. And once you've reached that point, you put the drum on and you're ready to put the vehicle back together. And then you get to adjust your parking brake. And if you change the wheel cylinder, you'll need to bleed it. But other than that, that's basically how you do the rear brake, drum brake on a car. Once again, we have our primary shoe, we have our secondary shoe, and all the hardware attached to it is like that's a primary spring, secondary spring. That's a secondary hold down spring. And there you go. That's basically what we're doing here. Thank you so much for watching my video.